Let's get into that first topic now. Should Nigel Farage get an invite to the upcoming state dinner for US President Donald Trump? 02078622222. Speaking to the Express's new YouTube show, the Daily Expresso, the Reform leader... Fair dues. Reform leader says he's insulted at not being invited to the white tie dinner hosted by King Charles later this month. Have a listen.
Have you been invited to the upcoming state banquet? No?
No.
I heard Ed Davey gave his invite back. Maybe we can get his.
Yeah, they wouldn't invite me. Hey, we're only 15 points ahead in the polls. I've only known him personally as a friend for over a decade. But that shows you the attitude of this Labour government. They're insulting. They talk down to me. They don't invite me to that. I wrote to him about members of the House of Lords. I haven't even had a reply. And I'd remind Keir Starmer, I got rid of David Cameron. I got rid of Mrs May. If you go on being rude to me, I'll get rid of you.
There we go. I'd like to show you a comparison now. Let's have a little. Joanna, just a reaction to that straight away. Joanna, is it like a snowflake reaction that we're seeing there? Is this like when a child is not given access to a party, not given an invitation to a party, and the parents have to, make it feel better afterwards? That's what it feels like a little bit.
I do feel I want to sit him down and give him a little talk about how best to get the things that you want and desire. And having a little temper tantrum is probably not the right way to go about it. Look, I think he should have that opportunity, like he should have the opportunity to put forward those members of his party that he thinks should get honours. But there's a ways and means of doing it, isn't there? You've got to be diplomatic, and this is what we sort of seem to be losing in politics these days, and we just want to kick people in the shins. So I think, yes, give him a place, but somebody tell him, he did not get rid of Theresa May, David Cameron and all the rest of it. He is not all-powerful. He is no god.
He's certainly setting the mood music for politics at the moment, and has been for some time now, hasn't it? It feels like either party, if we're talking about the Conservatives or Labour, they seem to have to respond to the things he's putting forward.
But it's Trump politics, isn't it? It's say outrageous things, do something to disturb the status quo, make it like you don't care and it doesn't matter. That is not the way we do politics in this country. And I think if he wants to be successful, and all, as he says, he's 15 points ahead in the polls at the moment, in all likelihood, he may well be our next Prime Minister. But if you want to appeal to the whole of the nation, you've got to kind of change your vocalisation of your thoughts.
He is the political thread that's run through our society for the last 10 years. I wonder if it would show strength from Keir Starmer. Look at it from that way, as an opportunity to say, we don't have anything to fear here. There is no threat. He can be invited. And it could serve statesmanship as well. It could serve the country's interest.
I don't think so. I think it would look like weakness. It would be saying to Trump, look, I know that you think we're not doing very well, but here's a guy who you do respect. He is your friend. And so how about this as a peace offering? No, Trump is getting what he wants already. He's getting this unprecedented second state visit. And the people who go, something like 160 of them, 80 of them will be invited through Buckingham Palace and the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and 80 will be through the State Department and the White House. And it's on the basis of whether you are high up in politics here in this country, a member of the governing party, or the leader of the opposition and the senior lieutenants there, or the Lib Dems. And I think Kemi Badenoch will probably go. Of course, the Prime Minister and senior members of the Cabinet will go. But Nigel Farage has 4 MPs. He may be 15 points ahead in the polls, but he's not the Prime Minister. He's not the leader of the opposition. Who knows where he'll be in 3 or 4 years' time? And I think he demeans himself in whinging like this. He presents himself as a grievance monger to those people who detract him, and I think it's pretty well deserved, because to sit there and complain, I mean, if Donald Trump and he really were friends, then they could invite him, the White House could invite him, as they are inviting Dame Karen Pierce. On their side, the former British ambassador to Washington, she's not being invited by the British government, she's being invited by the White House. Well, if Donald Trump and him get on so well, why doesn't Trump invite him?
I think that this discrepancy between polls and seats is kind of where we're at the moment. Let's have a look at that, remind ourselves where we are. OK, so up here we can see at the top seats in the House of Parliament, the House of Commons at the moment, and you can see overwhelmingly Labour, 398 Labour seats. And there is that tiny blue block of 4 Reform seats in the Commons at the moment. But if you compare that to the latest polls that came out for the I paper, then you see Reform intention of voting intention. 35% of people in this country intend to vote Reform right now.
Yeah.
And I just wonder whether you take the mood music from the moment and you reflect that, or whether you look at what people have democratically chosen in the last election.
Yeah.
It's a state visit, Joanna. Shouldn't we then go with democracy? It is a very official meeting of 2 heads of state.
But I think this is where diplomacy comes to the fore, and it's got to be looking to now and to the future. It's only 2.5 years probably till the next election.
It could be nearly 4.
But I don't know how you work that. You're sneaking around the back and doing something.
The
reality is, I'm sure that and we may well see Farage there. Now Davies dropped out. He might get the call. But the reality is we've got to take the mood music from the country. And if I was Starmer, I wouldn't have let it got to this. I'd have just invited the man. And then there's no reason for Farage to sort of get on his soapbox and make a drama about it. But ensure it's balanced and that, the Union Party is there as well. It's got to be. Do you
think on the Trump side, Trump will be bringing over anybody from the Democrats, anybody from any party or any organisation who's been slagging him off?
No, because that's not the point of this state visit.
Right now, MPs, 649 of them, will be in the House of Commons. They've come back from the recess. Where is Nigel Farage? He is over in Washington, attending the National Conservatism Conference, slagging off Britain, slagging off Starmer, saying that our country is going to hell in a handcart. And then tomorrow, he's going to be appearing before some congressional Republicans saying that Lucy Connolly is tribune of the people.
I wonder if it's a true apples with apples, Henry, whether if Keir Starmer went to the US, he would visit Nancy Pelosi or Adam Schiff or any of those guys. So
but he wouldn't be slagging off Britain.
OK, let's take some calls. Let's take some calls because I want to hear what the country thinks. Deborah's in Somerset. Deborah, do you think Farage should have a seat at the table at this state visit?
No, I don't. Couple of things. First and foremost, Farage has this ability to say things with almost a smile, so you can't tell whether he's joking, yeah? So that's one of the things that he gets away with, saying a lot of things. And in this one, I think there's an element of that. The second thing is, somebody just said, why doesn't Trump invite him? Unfortunately, I think, right, if Farage wanted to, he could stir up a lot of trouble and actually get Donald Trump to invite him because, regardless of whether he was, of the fact that he wasn't invited, I think he would probably try and stir up trouble and get Trump to invite him on principle.
But that's what he does, Deborah, isn't it? That's how he's trying to change politics for the better, by going to the places that other people won't go.
Well, as somebody said there, I don't think he is trying to change politics for the better. How can you change politics for the better when the country you're supposed to be running for Prime Minister for, overseas, you put it down? Okay. You know, that's not changing politics for the better.
All right, Deborah.
I just think Nigel Farage is very, very slimy and is likely to use this to his advantage, as he does most things. OK,
Deborah, you're entitled to that point of view. Of course, Janice is in Essex. Janice, do you think Farage should have a seat at the table? He's so far ahead in the polls. Doesn't that book him in?
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I disagree with Deborah. He's not slimy. He's the one that is actually trying to do something to change our country. If he doesn't keep speaking out the way he is, you're having Labour running like rats. You've got Tories don't even know what to do anymore. He is the one, I'm not saying he's a saviour of the country, but he's waking people up and saying, we've all had enough. Are they going to invite Sadiq Khan?
He's Donald Trump's best friend, apparently. Why does he need to go to this, to a state meeting like this, at a state visit? Why doesn't he just call him up and say, I'll see you this afternoon, I'm popping over?
No, why then did Davey get invited? Where are they in the polls? They're nowhere. So, Trump's already been denied at the House of Commons. And I'm sorry, He's his best friend. Well, not best friend. He's one of his
But
friends.
Janice, he's nowhere near his best friend. I recall that when they had the inauguration in January, Nigel Farage shot over there, but he wasn't in the rotunda, where Trump was sworn in as president for the second time, and he admitted, I didn't make the cut. I think it's a transactional relationship. Trump uses Farage when it's convenient to do so. Deep down, there's not a proper friendship there.
I disagree with that because I think if you listen to Nigel, what he said was, I cannot be shown to be friends with Trump while Trump's doing what he's doing and I'm trying to do what I'm doing. It would be bad optics because all it will look like is that I'm creeping up Trump and we're going to be Trump 02.
Okay.
And that's what people think of him.
Thanks for your call, Janice. Kathleen's in North Yorkshire. Kathleen, do you think that Farage should be at the table for the state visit?
I do. I think it's just rude not to invite him. How many of us back him? Whether I do or not, it's nothing to do with it. And in politics, there's nothing to do with it. In his position, he should have been asked, and it's very rude.
Why is it not rude for the Greens not to be invited? They've got more seats than Reform.
Well, I think they should be invited as well.
But they're not kicking up a fuss about it. They're not outraged.
Well, no, but Trump's got a lot of followers. Farage has got a lot of followers. So he's just kicking up a fuss for us because we're outraged about it. OK,
Kathleen, thanks so much. Flora's in Nottinghamshire. Flora, do you think Farage has done enough to warrant a seat at the state visit of Donald Trump?
Definitely and emphatically no. The man's the leader of a tin pot party. I know he's got a big following, but I'm 86-year-old and I've seen these leads in the polls God knows how many times in my years, and they've still never been invited. And he's still never won.
I mean, Flora's got...
because he's got a 50% lead, he's going to win, because I wouldn't vote for him.
Well,
and I'm outraged about these immigrants.
But you still wouldn't vote for Nigel Farage, for Reform?
Definitely, emphatically no. I could really tell you what I think of him, but I don't know whether it's slander or libel, so I will not say it on your programme.
Do you know, we appreciate your moderation, Flora. Thank you for that. Flora makes a very good point. Polls move very quickly. We've seen them move in one direction very quickly. Joanna, why wouldn't they go back the other way in the next 2 years?
It's perfectly possible, but if I was Keir Starmer right now, I would keep my friends close, but I'd keep my enemies closer. If he wants to stop this... I mean, look, Nigel Farage is a provocateur, isn't he? He just wants to get the headlines and grasp the headlines for saying something, whether, as one of the callers says, whether he actually means it or not, because he's always smiling. But I think this is a time when Starmer could actually keep him quiet by actually inviting him to be part of something. I think that horse is now bolted.
No, I don't think so. You can't out Farage. I'm old enough to remember the 1992 election when Neil Kinnock and Labour were way ahead of John Major, and John Major got back in with a majority. And then, of course, 2015, Ed Miliband was ahead of David Cameron, and, of course, with Cameron and the Tories got an overall majority.
OK, well, the polls are what they are right now. Who knows what they'll be tomorrow? Thank you for all your calls on that. Don't forget...